Update. So to the market, today is August 9th, 2022. So you guys know what day it is. So I want to give you the facts and what's going on today. So what we see in the markets today, happy Tuesday, and I'm glad to be back. I thought I had a COVID scare there for a second. So I took yesterday off, took a couple COVID tests, felt like crap, but now I'm back. So on the day that I missed, what news came in about inflation? Well, they passed a huge spending bill again. So what do we do when we have too much inflation? Well, we pass more bills. It's going to pump a ton of billions and trillions of money into the markets. Guys, that ain't going to work. So let's get over to the data that we see right here. The MBS market right now is down 19 ticks. What does that mean? Well, it means mortgage rates are going to go up just a hair because this is what's going on. But let's go over the news today because you guys are here to figure out what's going on with real estate. The biggest piece of the real estate market is supply demand, like we know with everything else. The way to find the value of something is figuring out the supply and the demand. If there's too much supply, little demand, prices will come down. Too much demand, little supply, prices will go up. That's what happens. And then when you have excess money in the system chasing too few goods, it's also going to push up prices. Prices go up. What do we see? Inflation. Okay, so what caused a lot of this stuff was a lot of money that was given out there. And let's go over and put this into context. But the news today, right now, as you're seeing the MBS market, really not much of a change. Down 19 isn't as bad as we've seen in the past. But let's go over to the headline news. Here's where things get a little weird. U.S. Treasury yields tick up as investors look ahead to key inflation data. So we're going to have some inflation numbers come in tomorrow. And I'm expecting, and a lot of other people are expecting the same thing, and I'm going to show you that here in a minute, that we're in inflation that's going to start coming back down. The two areas that I said is going to be really sticky, what I mean by sticky, it's going to be hard to come back down, are wages. You can't go to somebody and say, okay, you're doing a fantastic job for us, but we're going to have to cut your pay. Okay, so that normally doesn't happen. Okay, that piece of the puzzle. And then we also see housing. In the research that's done, they don't research homes that people own. The only thing they look in housing in the inflation numbers is rent. Okay, and we're continuing to see rents going up and up and up. Okay, but I want to put all this into context because I want to be your news source every morning so you guys figure out what's going on in the markets. And I'll have an unbiased opinion of this, guys. There's really no agenda here other than giving you guys the facts. So you have CNBC over here, you got Fox News over here. What's the truth? And come to my channel and I'll give it to you. So the other piece of this puzzle is key inflation figures are starting to come back down, or people are expecting that. A survey was put out yesterday and it came back. Consumers are expecting inflation to start to drop. A lot of analysts are doing the same thing. One piece of the puzzle that I agree with is, why is it going to drop, I think, pretty substantially here fairly quick? Oil. I just came to work this morning and the gas prices on my way to work, we'll put it this way. 2-3 weeks ago, we were teetering on $6 a gallon. Today, I actually took a picture of it with my phone, $4.44. Okay, that's a huge drop. Oil's dropping. I'm going to show you the oil chart here in a minute. It's down over 30% in the last 30 to 45 days. That's a huge chunk of that puzzle. Okay, so but consumers are expecting the inflation numbers to start dropping, and analysts are too. So let's get over to some of how this doesn't make any sense. Again, guys, if you have inflation running out of control, would you start pumping out more and more money, more spending bills, more other stuff just to pump money in the system? No, that's insanity. Well, that's not what's happening. Even Biden is admitting, saying, and guys, I don't want this to be a political channel. I'm just giving you the truth. If this was Trump, I'd be all over it. If this was DeSantis, I'd be all over it. It's Biden. If it was Obama, whomever, I don't care. It's just like he even admits, God knows what else is in this bill. You know, it was probably a Freudian slip, but he even doesn't really know what's in this bill. But let's keep going. The insulin bill. Now, this is the big tout. The tout that they're going to say is it's helping millions of people with their insulin. Okay, but if you read the fine line and you go down through here, who's it really helping? Only those on Medicare. Okay, so if you see that right here, if you're on Medicare, if you're not going to get any help. Okay. Another piece of this bill that I find completely odd is now they're saying, well, we're going to let Medicare start to negotiate drug prices. when VA is already doing it. VA, if you go through the VA and you're looking at medication, your drug prices are 50% lower than if you are in Medicare. Well, why wouldn't you let Medicare negotiate as well? Well, because it's a government entity and they don't care about, efficiencies. They just want to make everything look good. But if you dig into these guys, again, I don't want to get political, but when you dig into this bill, you have a lot of spending in areas that maybe need it, maybe don't need it right now. But if you dig into it, look at this right here. Bill will also need to pass the House, seeks to limit insulin costs to $35 a month for those on Medicare. On Medicare. But efforts to extend the change to patients covered by private insurance is no longer in the legislation. Huh? Why don't you help everybody? Okay, so that's that piece of the puzzle. Next piece of the puzzle is Biden assigned a competitive chip maker bill. Well, don't they always say that, you're giving big businesses tax write-offs and cuts and all this other stuff? But again, if you dig into the details, what's happening in this one? Well, the bill includes more than $52 billion for U.S. companies producing semiconductors, as well as billions more in tax credits to encourage investments in chip manufacturing. So, are we against big corporations making a bunch of money and giving them tax breaks and everything else, or is it a talking point? That's something you needed to really discuss. And then I got this up here. This is what's going on with the price of oil. And I want to show you guys this. This is exciting news. Okay, so we had oil prices back in June at $123 a barrel. They just came to $91 a barrel. The difference is I did on a calculator here a second ago. I think it's 31% decline in 45 days. Okay, so you're going to start seeing gas at the pipe, or the pain at the pump, starting to subside more and more and more. So let's put all this into context, guys. Why are you here? Basically to get the news. I'll give you the market news. Then we'll associate this with the mortgage industry, because if you're watching my channel, you're trying to figure out what's going on with mortgage rates, what's going on with housing. Well, if you watch a lot of the channels that everybody else has, they're just painting gloom and doom. I just want to give you guys the facts, okay? So you see here that yes, there was a bill passed yesterday, the Inflation Reduction Act. Don't know how that's really going to help inflation, because we're helping the semiconductor industry. We're cutting costs on insulin for Medicare. What else? Clean energy. I don't know how that's affecting the inflation numbers. And then another piece, and I'll stop ranting after this. You put these things into place and look at the bill. Please, guys, look at the bill. A lot of these things don't go into effect till 2025 and beyond. Okay, let's look at it this way. If you're frustrated with the government the way it is, we're probably going to have a change in party. Okay, that party's going to come in and probably negate out everything that Joe Biden's doing, just like Mr. President Biden did with the former presidential pieces of this puzzle. So they basically stopped everything that President Trump put into place. President Biden stopped. Okay, that's probably what's going to take place when another president comes in after Biden. Okay, so when you put in these bills and say, okay, we're doing all these great things for the economy that don't kick in for 3, 4, 5 years, maybe even 10 years, how's it helping us today? How's it helping inflation in 2022? I don't get it. But let's get over to what all this is doing with mortgage rates. So the first thing I want to do is go to the economic calendar. There's really nothing out today. So let's go to that. EIA, short-term energy outlook, nothing really there. But then tomorrow we start to get some of the juicy numbers that we're really focusing in on. Inflation numbers. What are we going to see in the inflation numbers? Again, what I said is, the wage inflation, it's going to be sticky as all get out, because you can't go to employers or employees and go back and take back their pay increases. Okay. But one of the biggest pains that we're seeing is in food and in energy. Okay. We just know that gas prices or oil prices are down 31% from where we were just a month ago. So if you take the biggest piece of our inflation numbers and you drop that down 31%, well, the expectations are inflation's going to come down. Okay, it's not going to come down into the 2 range that the economists and everybody want and the Fed wants, but it's going to take time. Okay, but we're on the right path there. Okay, so let's get over to tomorrow. What we got numbers coming in tomorrow is we got the core CPI and the CPI. Core CPI just extracts out food and energy. Okay, so it looks at everything other than food and energy. Why do they do that? Well, because food and energy go like this fast. A lot of the other pieces of the economy are steady tickers. So they extract food and energy out of the equation just to see, okay, where's the rest of the economy going that we might have more of a focal point on or areas that we can really adjust to? Okay, so that's that piece of the puzzle. The next piece of the puzzle is crude oil inventories. Why do I put that on my economic calendar? Because I just said it's the biggest piece of our inflation puzzle. Okay, so if you have, gas prices at the pump just killing us in our pocketbook, well, how does all pieces of something get to somewhere? So for example, let's say if you're a farmer and you're producing food, well, how do you get the seed in the ground? Well, you use your tractors and your bulldozers and everything else. What do they run on? Diesel and gas. Okay, that's oil. Okay, when you plant the stuff, a lot of that has nitrogen and a whole bunch of other things in that. So you get my point there. Okay, so that's why I focus on oil. I put that on my economic calendar. I want to see what it's doing. And you can see right through here what it's done. And let's just go to year to date. Well, let's go to 6 months. Okay, you can see, again, we hit 2 times in the last 6 months that was over $120 a barrel. Now we're about $90 a barrel, going in a good path. So now on to what is all this information? Is it helping or is it hurting mortgage rates? Well, the first piece of the puzzle we go to is where rates are. Well, these are basically where rates ended yesterday. Okay, so, and I apologize. I was sick yesterday. You can probably hear it in my voice. I got congestion, but I'm trying to do the best I can for you guys. I put up the Mortgage News Daily. Why do I use this data? It's just simple to read. Look at it. The top 6 products that we use as mortgage advisors are right there. So you can look at it yourself just to see what's the average out there. What's the change? How big of a change has there been? So let's focus in on just right now the 30-year. It's the one right in front of you, right in this range right here. Okay, where we are. So the 30-year fixed rate now is coming in at 5.35. There's really, it came down about 0.1 yesterday. That we call it 10 basis points, but that's a nice piece of the puzzle. But this probably isn't your rate. Okay, why? Well, this rate represents this. So what Mortgage News Daily does is they send out a survey to mortgage lenders all over the country, the biggest lenders out there, and they said, hey, if you had a client and it was this, if that client had a 740 credit score, and they were buying a $500,000 home. They were putting 20% down on a single family home that they were planning on living on. So it was their primary residency. What would your rate be? Here's the rates. Okay, so that's probably not your scenario. How do you find out your scenario? What you can get as a mortgage rate? I'll give you all our information at the end of this. So just reach out to us. Just give us half hour, 45 minutes at the tops to get back with you with the exact rate that we can offer you. Even if you're already locked in with somebody, let me know because mortgage rates are down about 75 basis points from where they were just a couple weeks ago. You can see that on the chart as well. Look at the chart down here. The 52-week high and low, you can see right here. The low is 2.91. It's crazy. Look, it's almost double, okay? But we're off the double. But you can see right here, what was the high? The yearly high just happened about 45 days ago. It was 6.25. This says 6.28, but I'll round it to 6.25. All right, we're down almost 1 full percent from where we were just a month ago. So if you locked in, you can get a better rate today. How you do that? Just reach out to us. All our information is down below. You can call us. You can even email me, and my description's down below there. So this is where mortgage rates are. So that first, that scenario. Well, let's get over to with all this news coming out, what's actually happening in the MBS market. Well, what is the MBS market? Well, how do you figure out what a mortgage rate is? So how do you do that? Right here. It's a bond that trades on Wall Street. It's called a mortgage-backed security. Whatever that bond is doing, the yield on that bond is the biggest piece of the puzzle of your mortgage rate. So that's why we follow this chart. So let me just explain this to you. It's pretty simple how all bonds work. This is the price of the bond, okay? As this price goes down, if a price of a bond goes down, your rate goes up. There's an inverse. There's a flip-flop effect. So this goes down, mortgage rates go up. This is down 0.13. Doesn't mean your rate's going to go up 0.13. It'll probably equate to rates going up about maybe 0.1. We'll give back that 0.1 that we gained from yesterday. Okay. So that's the trajectory of what was going on in the market right now. The biggest piece of this puzzle is they're going to dissect this inflation act really in detail. And they're going to come back and you're going to watch CNBC or you're going to watch Fox News. All I ask you to do is tune in every morning. I'm going to try to do this within 8 minutes to give you guys the facts behind everything. If you have any comments, please list them down below or email me. I'd love to hear from you to see what you would want me to add to this channel on my morning updates to make sure you're informed. You're an educated consumer when it comes to all your real estate needs. So I'm not going to answer any questions at this time. I will be back today at 1 o'clock. Let me see if there's anything on here that I might just address real quick. But I'm going to come back today at 1 o'clock to answer all the questions that you guys have. And we're going to do it at that time. What I'm going to try to do each day is just do a live report like this. So you get live action. You get me good, bad, ugly. I might mess up because it's live. I can't edit it. So you can see me live in action. So is there anything, Kyle come in, and Kyle's a new member of our team. If you want to reach out to Kyle or check out his channel, it's awesome. This guy, I've been following him for years. I was able to talk him into joining our team because he's a fan of my channel. I'm a fan of his, and we've been talking for years. And I finally got him to join our team over. Anything else out here that we can see? It doesn't help. I think that you're just playing a game. Why would you have to wait till after they're out of office just so you... I don't know. You got me on that one. But that is it right now, guys. So this is my live report. I'll be doing this every morning at 9:30 to make sure you guys are informed, everything real estate. And I want to make sure you guys understand what's going on in the market. So thanks for watching. If you want to ask any questions live, please join me today at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Love to answer those questions, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.